Okay, let's do it. It's nice to be back on stage. I'm gonna call it a stage. I'm between soup cans, but still, it's nice. It's nice to be back. I was away for a couple of weeks. I was on vacation. Vacation is a really nice time to sort of rethink where you are in life. You know, it's got some thinking done. I decided over this vacation that I don't want to have kids. Yeah, a little bit of pushback from my son. Paperwork's already been filled out. It's too late now. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice. When I'm not doing this, I work as a tour guide. I work in Amsterdam. I show people around the city, and I answer the dumbest questions. It's amazing. Questions like, this is a question I've gotten more than once. Tim, I've looked everywhere. Why can't I find any other books by Anne Frank? I'm like, she's retired? My God. Now, we have a term for people like that in our industry. We call them Americans. They are the best, okay? You gotta love Americans, because they might be armed. Safer that way. Now, the best question I ever got on a tour in like 8 years of tour guiding was this lady. She came up to me mid-tour. She goes like, Tim, there's so many canals. Nothing escapes her. So many canals. She goes, Tim, is it true that Amsterdam is considered the Venice of Europe? Like, is it us now? What happened to Venice? It's amazing. I worry sometimes it's making me dumber as a person. This job, it's rubbing off on me. I really think so. I had a just last summer. I was talking to this guy from Scotland, right? And he was a lovely guy, and I'm like, thank you. So I was very allergic to the concept of Scotland over there. And I was like, oh, cool, tell me about Scotland. What's Scotland like? And he tells me that every summer he gets bitten by midges. Yeah, now midges are these little like insects, these mosquitoes are all over Scotland. I did not know that. So I thought, midgets? Yeah, like little people. I thought that every summer, this guy gets bitten by, which at that point you're doing something, right? That's at least partially on you. Knock it off. What the hell? I'm so confused. He's rambling on. He's like, oh, there's so many maggots in Scotland. It's dreadful. Like, oh, right around the spring, they come out of the swamps. I'm like, what did you say? He's like, yeah, because that's where they lay their eggs. I'm like, that seems offensive. No. What? I don't know. All that I care about is, like, I don't care about the dumb questions as long as people are interested. That's all I want on a tour, Because you do get people that are just for 3 hour on your tour, like a 3 hour walking tour, they're just staring at you. And you're like, oh, isn't this interesting or funny? And they give you nothing, They're just, well, German is what they are, right? They're not the most expressive people, and they can't help it. It's part of their culture. I get that, But it is. I don't know if you, I only found this out recently. I don't know if you know this, but ecstasy is illegal in Germany. Did you know that? Not the drug, the feeling. Did you know that? Yeah. They don't trust it. They experimented with it once, but you've seen the monuments. Anyway, so I find like 2 Holocaust jokes in the first 3 minutes is your limit. That's fine. That's fine. There's a slavery joke coming up, so that's something to look forward to. It's a fun job. It is. It's just what gets old is just dealing with the endless questions about weed. Everybody wants to talk to you about weed. They're like, tell us about the weed. And the Dutch, look, you guys live here, most of you, I think. You know this. The Dutch don't smoke that much weed, right? We just don't. Does anybody know the number one country for weed? I looked it up a while back. It's not the Netherlands. Does anybody know? Spain. Spain's up there. That's not a bad guess. France? No. I had Argentina. I had a guy a while back at a show that went, Saudi Arabia? Fuck. I thought that was so weird. Actually, I ended up going home and I ended up Googling, do Saudis get stoned? No, it's the number one country in the world for marijuana is Iceland. Yeah. 40% of people in Iceland, 7 people. Like it's one household, but they really, man. You know the Northern Lights? They don't exist. They're like, ooh, lights in the sky. All right, Bjork. Jesus. What the hell? It's fun. It's fun. I mentioned before I'm a dad. I got a 6-year-old. It's this amazing experience. Really, like seeing a person develop, like seeing all these milestones that they're hitting. I remember like a couple of years ago when he first started to develop his sense of humor. That's, as a comedian, you're like, that's awesome, right? It's exciting. It was mostly noises at first. It was very basic, rudimentary, but like I remember there was this big family gathering and he kept like jumping up and going wah wah wah. Just, you know. Now sure, this was a funeral. He's got to learn to pick at spots, you know. He's working on it. It's fun. It's fun. It's lovely being a dad. We were trying for like a year to have kids, and nothing was happening for like a year. So we were like, oh, maybe there's a medical problem, right? You start getting worried after a year. We even took a cup of my semen to the doctor. He goes like, no, that goes in her. I was like, that's a good tip. He's like, also, I'm a dentist. I'm so sorry. I should go. I've got a lot of cups to throw away. I thought, leveling with you for a sec, I thought my girlfriend was the problem. I thought it was my girlfriend. I should explain, my girlfriend is from Thailand, and you may or may not know this, but a lot of women in Thailand have trouble conceiving because of a problem with their prostate. All right, we all got it now. That's good. We all got there in the end. That's what matters. Everybody takes their own time with that one, I find. It's why I still do this joke. I was doing this joke for a group of 200 medical students last month. Some of those are going to make better doctors than others. There's a lot of like, do women have prostates? Like they do in Thailand. Thailand's the only country where a one-night stand is also a gender reveal party. Did you know that? That's great. That's great. But no, I love her. She is the Adam's apple of my eye, and it wasn't her. It turns out, because we get into the hospital and we did all the the tests, and they sat me down. They were like, "Okay, Tim, first of all, we need you to stop smoking weed." And I was like, why? And they were like, because this is a hospital. I was like, shit, that's okay. Sorry, Doc, it's been a long day. I just came from the dentist. I was the problem, it turns out. It was all me. It turns out my sperm wasn't moving enough. And it was because of the weed. I don't know how they can tell. They can tell. I don't know what they saw through the microscope. I'm not a doctor, just a tiny couch and Nintendo, I guess. I don't know. But my sperm would go like halfway there, and then it would just go looking for nachos. So, I mean, so now I'm a dad, and being a parent, you have to make all these like big decisions. Like, do you get your kid vaccinated? didn't think that would be a debate, but unfortunately it is in my family. Because my aunt hates vaccines. She's a real presence in the family. She hates this her whole identity. She hates vaccines. It's why we call her anti-vax. And you should have seen her face when we told her that we got my son vaccinated. She was like, "How can you look your son in the eye, knowing that you risked him getting autism?" And I was like, "Well, he doesn't really make eye contact anymore, so." I will say that joke was a lot funnier before my son got diagnosed with autism. Yeah, well played. Yeah, that's real. This is usually where the room gets very quiet. Please don't. I get enough of that at home, okay? He's a little introverted. It was an adjustment. It was initially, it was a little scary finding this out, because so in Dutch, you might know this in Dutch, they call it Autism spectrum stoornis, right? So the doctor was like, "Hey, if you want to learn more about it, just go home, just Google ASS." I was like, "Doc, I've been Googling that for years. Doesn't seem appropriate now." But I did feel better afterwards, so it took the edge off. It was nice. He was right. He's a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. So a lot of people are kind of asking us right now, like, are you guys gonna get married, right? Because we got a kid. It's getting pretty serious, and we would, but we're from two different worlds. We're from two different cultures. I'm Dutch. She's Thai. How does that work? You know what I mean? If we wanted to get married, this is absolutely real. I would have to pay her family a dowry. I don't know if you know what that is. So I would have to pay her family 5,000 euros, and I don't feel comfortable with the idea of buying a woman, for that price. You know what I mean? She's had a baby. I don't know. It's She's slightly used. And what? Because I am Dutch, and historically, when we buy people, we don't need to talk about that. No, you're right. You're right. Sorry. So I felt weird about the whole thing, and I was like, I should at least talk to her dad, sort of explain my intentions with this little girl, and and he tells me that because my girlfriend is over 40, and she's been married before, that they would basically give me a discount. Yeah. That's not how he phrased it. Obviously, his exact words were, "Special price for you, my friend!" Great guy. He's a great guy. I love him. You know what it is? I don't have the best experiences with weddings. That's part of it. I don't have worst story I probably have for you. I was late to my sister's wedding. Yeah. And it gets worse. She had made me the best man. Yeah. So there's blame on both sides, right? She did not see it that way. So look, it incredibly tense moment. Obviously, you walk into a room like that, and everybody knows what happened. Everyone's just sitting there, just staring at you, just silently judging you. Kind of like now. Really getting into character there. So it was odd. It was uncomfortable. And if you're a comedian, and if you feel that much tension in the room, you're like, "Oh, I better say something really funny to make this okay." So I walk in there, and right in front of everyone, right, my sister, she runs over to me. She gets right on my face. She goes, "You are late." And I'm like, "I'm late? You're 36. And then my son went, "Wah, wah, wah." All right, guys, my name is Tim Hill. Thank you so much for coming out. Bye.